Good morning, friend. Welcome back to my mom's kitchen. This is Susan.
Good morning. Good to see you this morning.
And it is our annual Thanksgiving tomorrow. So we are doing a huge prep day. I just got here. It is 9:15 in the morning. My mom has done a lot of the heavy mental lifting. She's got the menu taken care of. She even set out this morning all of her serving dishes labeled with what's going in what. And so all of that kind of mental work is done, but now it is the time to actually prep most of the food today so that tomorrow we have a lot less that we need to do.
And the thing that takes the most mental work is the countdown clock, which is right here.
So she has today scheduled out what we're going to be doing and tomorrow scheduled out so that the goal is to get everything hot and served at the same time. So what my mom usually does is she prints out all of her recipes and we actually get them taped up on the counters, and we're just getting started with that this morning.
Well, I'm going to start with the cake because I have to frost it and decorate it today. There won't be enough time tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I want to get it good and cool. Probably I'll stick it in the freezer after it's baked. And Becky's going to start the turkey. So that one we're not going to tape up, and I'm going to tape these over at the baking counter.
Okay. So we're going to try to do multiple things at one time.
Actually, I think I'm going to do it on the refrigerator. It's
that's a good idea.
Easier to see.
It is my nephew's birthday in the month of November, and so he requested a peanut butter cake. And so my mom's going to do a peanut butter cake with a peanut butter frosting and a ganache chocolate filling. And we have a bunch of stuff we need to do tomorrow too. Not a ton, but there will be stuff that needs to be done tomorrow. So she's going to go ahead and get that cake made and frosted today. And so while she gets going on the cake, I'm going to get going on the turkey. I dry brined a turkey for the first time this year for Friendsgiving, and it worked really well. So we figured we would go ahead and try that again for this turkey. My sister is doing the potatoes. So earlier this week, I dropped off about 10 pounds of potatoes to her. And I think she had 2 different potato recipes she wanted to make. I wanted to give her the potatoes from the garden. And, oh, perfect. My mom just grabbed
the turkey.
I'm going to go ahead and grab out the spices because there's quite a few spices. This morning, I also brought a ton of herbs, some veggies from the garden, and things like that that I harvested yesterday that we will use for this turkey. Mom, did you want me to do the veggies underneath this today and just get it completely ready?
Yes, we can actually do that because if you put it in the refrigerator and then you take it out and get it to room temperature and then you bake it.
Yeah.
So that's what they suggested. Get everything all ready.
I can do that. So there's 3 different components. There's the dry brine and the turkey and the gravy. But we'll probably just make the gravy like we normally do. I brought some garlic and onions from the garden, and I'm going to go ahead and just cut that head of garlic in half. Is there water in your cake?
Yeah. There is. I've never made a cake. Well, I take that back.
No, your chocolate cake recipe has water in it.
The Leah's chocolate cake has water in it, but it's boiling water, so I don't know. This is a new recipe.
I'm cutting 2 onions. I'm just quartering them. We will link all of these recipes that we're going to be making down below. Some of them are family favorites. Some of them we've never made before, and so they will be linked down there for you, though. Yesterday, I harvested some celery out of the garden. I do need to wash this. I haven't washed it yet. I harvested and left the leaves on because we're not going to eat this celery. This is just going to be for flavor. So I'm just going to lay all these yummy goodness on the bottom of this tray. This is going to be the base of our broth that we're going to add to our gravy. So garlic, onion. We can leave all of the peels and everything on because we're not eating this. This is just flavor.
It's going to be so good.
Yeah, these are from my mom's garden. These are carrots from her garden.
There's a couple of inside out ones.
Yeah, I'll put those ones in first. They split. That's normal. I just washed and picked out the small carrots.
I think I'm going to move this down because we're going to do this tomorrow.
Yeah. So the last thing I'm going to add to our tray are a couple bay leaves. Now we can go ahead and get going on the brine, the dry salt brine. So I've got some tablespoons of salt here, and I'm gonna kind of make this up with what I kind of did last time for Friendsgiving, and it was so good. The only thing I'm gonna change though is this recipe calls for brown sugar, and I think that's a good idea. So we're gonna add some brown sugar. That'll add some sweetness to our turkey, but it'll also help with browning. So first off, I've got some smoked paprika, which will help with color as well.
There's your recipe.
Perfect, thank you. Now I have some roasted onion. Ooh, there was no top on that. That's okay. I think I can get some of that back into this.
Sorry.
That's okay. I could have seen that there was no top on it. This is roasted garlic powder that is so good. So it has a lot of depth of flavor as opposed to just plain garlic powder. Lots and lots of fresh pepper.
I'm switching it up. Usually I tape the recipes on the cupboard doors, but because the baking counter has become a staging area with so many things for Thanksgiving, I'm putting them on the refrigerator door, and I actually like it better because I can see it without moving.
Yeah, you can.
I don't have to take 2 steps to read it.
That's a good idea. I used to do that same thing, but I don't really have upper cabinets at my house, so I've kind of stopped doing that. And Mom, did we decide that we are roasting this turkey in the oven?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to use the big roaster pan for the dressing probably, because I'll put that in the largest dish, and that way the other things will be in smaller dishes and I can put more in the oven.
That makes sense. I dry brined a turkey for the first time for Friendsgiving last week. And this recipe calls for a little bit different than the way I did it before. The way I did it before is I didn't add any flavor other than salt during the brining process. And this recipe, you add a lot of the flavor with the salt and the brining process at the same time. When I added the butter the day I baked it, that's when I added my garlic powder, paprika, and things like that. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how it's different doing it this way as opposed to the way I did it last week.
I think it will have more flavor because when you put a dry rub on a pork butt, or you put the seasonings on the whole time. I do have fresh rosemary. Oh yeah, I do too. Outside if you need it, and some thyme.
I almost forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me. I harvested a bunch of herbs from my garden yesterday. The parsley's for something else, right, Mom?
Yes, the parsley's for the vegetable salad, and there's 2 things parsley goes for.
So in here, I just put a big bunch of sage and thyme, and then we'll need a bunch of these herbs for other recipes later. So I'm going to wrap these back up and get these back in the fridge. One of my favorite things to grow are herbs because you get such a bang for your buck. In my area, they're so easy to grow and they're very expensive to buy. I think a bunch of herbs, sage like this, at least.
$2. Winco at the cheapest place.
Yeah.
$2. Yes, I wish I could master basil.
Yeah, basil is hard.
I've done it lots and it bolts, or we have a cold night and I come out and it's black.
Freezing, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of picky.
Cilantro can be difficult too, but the easiest herbs for me and my mom to grow in our area are thyme, rosemary, sage, parsley is easy. The tricky ones are basil and cilantro. Yeah. Because they like to bolt.
Well, and cilantro generally is pretty cheap.
Yes.
At Winco, it's like 68 cents for like a huge bunch.
Okay, this is now ready. My mom is almost ready to do the cake, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and get this turkey done. Normally we do the turkey at the very end, but this dry brine needs to sit for 24 hours. That is why we are starting it this morning. Because we are brining this turkey, we specifically look for a turkey that's not pre-brined. I did not realize that the majority of turkeys that you purchase at the grocery store, at least at the grocery stores around me, are pre-brined. What I wanted to do, but I didn't order it in time, next year I'm going to be ordering a turkey from a local farm that they don't pre-brine. So we had to go to a couple stores to find this non-brined turkey. And we were able to find one though. I'm just taking the plastic off of this turkey. And we are spatchcocking this turkey. I don't think I mentioned that. So we're dry brining it and spatchcocking it. So here is our turkey. This is the breast side of the turkey. And when you spatchcock, you want to work with the turkey upside down because we're going to remove this backbone here. Most turkeys, when you buy them, have these plastic container, I don't know what these are called, but they're plastic
buckles.
Yeah, to hold the legs together. And I'm going to take that off because we don't need that.
Well, we could also lay the neck on top of the dressing.
We got the backbone out of the turkey. That was a group effort. And now I'm going to put it breast side up. And I might need to, I might need to pop the backbone or the breastbone of this turkey right here. So this turkey is way bigger than a chicken. And so I just broke the backbone or the breastbone there so that when I turn it over, I will be able to actually splay this out.
Ah, beautiful.
There we go.
And I think this pan is big enough.
Yep, so here's our spatchcock turkey that did take a concerted effort to get it that way. So now what I'm doing is taking the wing and I'm pushing it up underneath the breast. And my mom is going to...
Isn't that beautiful? You are your father's daughter.
Did I not put the lid on?
No lid.
Yes, I am guilty of that.
Oh, well, we don't want it dripping on the
oven.
Yeah, we don't want it
we could maybe
on the oven.
Spatchcocked, but it's
lifted.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Oh,
okay.
And you know what we'll do? When we actually go to do it, we'll put a tray underneath of it.
So now I'm going to cover it. Oh, that's a good idea. With our salt, sugar, spice mixture. Our turkey is done. So we're going to pop this in the fridge and we will see it back tomorrow when we put it in the oven.
It's gorgeous.
My mom just preheated the oven because we need to roast the sweet potatoes. Do you want me to wash those and get those roasting?
Yes, I just turned the oven on. I can get you a sheet pan with parchment paper, make cleanup easier.
Okay. Oh, we're just dry roasting them. So all we need to do is wash them, dry them, and then
poke them
with a fork. Okay, that's easy. So we're basically going to do it's an apple bacon stuffed sweet potato with pomegranates. And it's basically like a double, what is that called? Twice baked. It's going to be like a twice baked sweet potato.
Okay, for the peanut butter cake, the first thing it says to do is to melt the peanut butter in the microwave. I have a little bowl cozy so that I can actually get it out of the microwave without spilling it. I'm not very tall, and my microwave is like way up there. So I try to use a bowl cozy.
I'm just poking these sweet potatoes real quick.
I'm not sure why, but it says to cover them with a wet paper towel, the peanut butter, while I nuke it.
Oh, maybe so it doesn't splatter?
That might be true. It's supposed to get runny.
Have you ever made a peanut butter cake before?
I have never.
Okay, so these sweet potatoes are ready for the oven. Is this going in the bottom oven, Mom?
Yes, but I guess it doesn't matter. It's not hot all the way, but I don't think that matters.
So I'm going to get going on the stuffing while my mom makes the cake because that needs to cook. Part of it needs to cook on the stove.
Do we need to set a timer for those potatoes? How long do you think they'll go?
It'll probably take at least an hour. It says 45 minutes to 55 minutes.
All right, I'll set it 45. I don't know how big those are in relation to what they recommend.
I'm going to get some of the veggies chopped for the stuffing.
My peanut butter is runny. I've never really melted peanut butter before. It smells heavenly.
So we are celebrating this Thanksgiving it's actually, I think, a week and a half early this year.
Yes.
And that way it doesn't conflict with other people's schedules. So typically with my side of the family, we celebrate the holidays the Saturday before whatever the holiday is. And this year I think we're celebrating a week and a half early.
Yes, and another consideration is my son's an RN, and you don't get holidays off. You just have your schedule. So we have to work around when he can join us.
So I have 2 onions here. I already have celery that I had chopped from the garden last week and threw in the freezer, so I don't even need to chop celery for this. And what I probably should do before I even get this onion chopped is get my sausage cooking on the stove.
Okay, it's 3/4 of a cup of peanut butter, 1/2 cup of butter. Make sure that's right. 1/2 cup of butter. The sugar, which is 2 cups of sugar, and then beat it for, I moved it so I looked the wrong way. That was 1 minute on high. Now I'm going to add the eggs.
Smells good.
It does.
Smells like peanut butter cookies.
I really like peanut butter. See, Becky, I got stainless steel attachments.
Yeah, I need to get stainless steel because mine are chipping. Every time I come over here, I think that. I could get going on making the sauce for the rhubarb bars while you're doing that.
All right.
My brother's favorite is rhubarb, which I didn't know till recently, so I harvested just enough rhubarb to make a rhubarb dessert for him. And we need to make a rhubarb compote.
Now this is something I've not done. It says to add the milk and the water slowly until it's well combined. The mixer on the lowest setting. The texture is changing. It was creamy, and now it's getting a kind of, gritty looking. Interesting. We'll see how this turns out. It had 5 out of 5, 5 stars.
I'm opening the freezer.
All right. The milk is improving the appearance. I mean, not that it was bad, but it just didn't look like any kind of a cake batter, that's for sure. Teaspoon soda, 1/2 salt. I think salt would be good because of the peanut butter.
Yeah.
I think I'll scrape the sides. Okay, I think that's until well blended. You'll notice I sprayed the pans and then I put parchment paper circle in, smoothed it completely as best I could to get all the bubbles out, and I will spray them again, and that prevents the cake from being really misshapen. I'm going to attempt to pour an equal amount in each pan. Boy, does that smell good.
Are you going to make a peanut butter frosting to go on this too?
I am, and then I'm going to put a chocolate ganache in the middle, and then I'm going to pipe little piles, alternating peanut butter chocolate.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Around the outside edge.
That'd be pretty. With the ganache?
Yes.
Oh, nice. And I can rinse that out, Mom, and use that for the filling for the the rhubarb bars.
All right. Does that look pretty even?
Yeah, it looks great.
Another trick is to tap it, and that gets any bubbles to the top. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to get going on the rhubarb compote, and all that is frozen rhubarb. You cook it down with some sugar, and once the rhubarb is soft, we'll add a cornstarch slurry, which I'm going to make in just a minute. And it always seems like on big cooking days like this, we kind of get a bunch of things started, and it takes a little bit of time before you can actually check things off the list and call them completely done. My mom and I always like to have, our ovens working for us. So like at this point, we have the cakes going. We like to try to have our stove working for us. So we've got the rhubarb compote. And now that the sausage is cooked, we're going to add the veggies to the stuffing mixture. And that way we can try to have our appliances working for us. So we're not starting a recipe and seeing that all the way through to the end. We are starting different recipes and having different recipes going and working on other recipes while the part of the recipe that takes time is happening, if that makes sense. So while the cakes are cooking, the rhubarb is cooking, and the sausage is cooking, I'm going to get going on the cream cheese layer of the rhubarb cream cheese bars. And this is just cream cheese, powdered sugar, vanilla, and a little bit of salt. Whip that together until nice and smooth, and then we will add this on top of our cookie crumble in just a minute. Our cream filling is now done. In this bowl, I have white flour, brown sugar. Now I'm gonna add oats. We're basically making like a oatmeal cookie kind of crumble. We're gonna add some oats. And then I have 2 sticks of pretty soft butter. It doesn't have to be completely soft because we're gonna work this in. I'm gonna add some salt. My mom just diced up a little bit more celery because the celery that I brought that was pre-diced wasn't quite enough. And the easiest way to get in here to work this butter into this mixture.
I do have a pastry knife if you want. The blade thing,
Oh yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
Would be a pastry knife or your hands.
There you go.
Thank you. You don't want it totally mixed in. It's kind of good to have a little bit of texture to it. Kind of like a crumb topping. And then Mom, we need a 9 by 13 dish for this recipe. This is not traditional Thanksgiving flavors. It's more of a springtime flavor, but I ran out to the garden when I heard my brother's favorite is rhubarb, and I harvested just enough so that we could have this just for him. This is probably my favorite rhubarb recipe.
Now we're going to want to cut those nicely, right? So should I parchment paper this?
Yeah, that would be good.
So that we can lift it out.
Mom, have you ever had this recipe before?
I have not. I mean, I've eaten it like at a bakery or something, but I've never made it. My favorite
is... It's a little fiddly because you have to make 3 components, but
yeah,
it's worth it.
My favorite is the custard rhubarb pie that I was thinking about to tell you where that recipe came from.
Oh, yeah?
In the neighborhood I grew up in, there was neighbors across the street. Ardell Rescue was her name. She had the prettiest boxer dog, and he would run up and down the fence when the kids would ride their bikes by. But anyway, this was her recipe.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was Grandma's recipe.
No, it was Ardell Rescue's recipe. She gave it to my mom, who, I don't know if she ever made it or Grandma took it.
Yeah.
But Grandma did all the baking, not my mom.
Yeah.
But that's where it came from. And I just had that sweet little memory of that cute little boxer dog that would bark as we ride our bikes by.
Rhubarb custard pie is my favorite type of rhubarb pie too. It has eggs in it. That's why it's called a custard pie. Gotta look at my recipe. I think I put 2/3 of this mixture here.
Anything with that yet? How would you like that pan prepared?
Probably just parchment paper and a little bit of spray.
All right. Here we go. It's noisy. That's one thing. I can't have too many kitchen scissors.
I have about 5 pairs.
Well, I have 2, but they migrate.
Yeah.
They migrate.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think 5, but there's not always 5 in the drawer.
Hey, they're great for cutting wrapping paper, too. Yeah. I just wrapped a birthday present last night. I'm going to put my finger in the corner so I know where to cut to.
That's brilliant.
And then I'm just going to cut down. It's kind of a wrapping paper. I'm wrapping a box, but I'm doing it in reverse.
Look at that.
And that way you don't end up having to, quote, waste your edges. They never go to waste. They always get eaten. But to keep them all
beautiful,
pretty.
Mom. Good job.
Now spray it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
At this point, we have not made a traditional Thanksgiving dessert, but not to worry. We are going to make an apple pie and a pumpkin pie. But we wanted to make sure that we got the peanut butter cake cooking so that had time to cool so that my mom could decorate it on this day. Normally she will make her cakes a day or 2 in advance, freeze it, and then decorate it, but we needed to decorate the cake today just with all the stuff we wanted to get done tomorrow. So now I've got the cookie crumb base layer for the rhubarb bars. Now I'm going to add the cornstarch slurry to the compote, let that thicken up a little bit, and then I'm going to add the cream cheese layer to these bars and then put that thinly on the cookie crumble. I love this cream cheese rhubarb bar. I think it's probably my favorite rhubarb dessert, and I thought it would be fun to surprise my brother with a rhubarb dessert on Thanksgiving, even though it is not a traditional Thanksgiving flavor.
Oh, I think these They're good.
Are they? They're not huge potatoes.
No, not quite. We'll give them 10 more minutes.
Is there an oven that's set to 350? Can you put this in with the cakes, or should you do them separate? You want to put it in now?
Well, yeah, I'll take the cakes out in a minute.
Okay.
Because I don't want to open the oven door now or it'll fall.
Yeah. That's a good point. I'll wait to put the compote on here, the rhubarb, until it cools a little bit anyway. So we can just let this dessert sit here. And then what would you like me to get going on next, Mom?
You can cut up the winter vegetables for this salad. But I was laying in bed thinking last night that sometimes when I oil and season my vegetables and then do them in 2 or 3 hours, all the liquid weeps out, and then I have water and oil, and they don't really roast, they kind of steam.
Do you put salt on it?
Well, I don't know, but what I'm going to say is just chop the vegetables, and we'll oil and season them right away. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I've never had a problem if I chop the vegetables and oil them. I just never put the salt.
Seasoning on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can do it however you want.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know how much salt there even is. Like none. Oh, salt and pepper to taste.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so we've got Brussels sprouts. We're not doing sweet potato because we're gonna have a sweet potato side.
Well, we can do carrots.
Carrots. Okay. I'll get going. Oh, I'm gonna turn this off. This is done. This is our rhubarb, and I'll let this cool a little bit. We can cross off a couple things that we have done because that will feel good. Do you have a pen over here?
I think I put it away.
So we have the rhubarb done.
Well, it's not done yet.
Okay. I would consider it.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got
turkey.
Turkey's done. And that's about it then.
That's it, yeah.
We've got a lot of things
moving along. Rhubarb is moving along.
Stuffing is almost ready.
I'm just tediously picking the
I'm going to turn this down.
herbs off the...
We don't need the onions and celery to brown. We just need it to get really, really soft. And we didn't drain the butter or the grease from the sausage because we want all of that in the actual stuffing.
Oh, yeah, you're not supposed to.
Yeah, no.
The butter is what makes it tasty.
I was just reading the recipe that my mom found for the roast vegetables, and this sounds delicious. It's a cranberry glazed butternut squash salad. And are you supposed to eat it cold or room temperature?
Whatever you want. Serve salad warm and enjoy a beautiful interplay of flavors and textures.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be hot.
Yeah.
And
I think
room temperature would be fine for me too.
I think that would be good. So I'm going to get the veggies prepped, and then we will make the glaze, and we'll put this on tomorrow. But it's got cranberry juice. You reduced. Did we buy cranberry juice?
I have it for the punch.
Okay.
It doesn't take very much.
No, half cup. Dried cranberries, honey, balsamic vinegar. That sounds good.
And I have a little dish for it because not everybody likes balsamic, although I don't think it'll be really strong.
No, it's only a tablespoon.
And then you put the cheese on it. Not everybody likes that, so I have the glaze goes here and the cheese goes there. That's so they can
do it separate.
Yes.
Okay. You said you had a vegetable peeler, Mom.
I got it out and I handed it to you. Here it is. Oh, you know what I read? The way now that it's cut, it might not work. They said if you have a hard time. Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
they say if you have a hard time cutting it or peeling it, stick it in the microwave for 2 minutes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And it just softens the skin enough that you can cut and peel it.
So most winter squash seeds have holes on them, just like this butternut, or this, what is it called? Butternut squash.
Yes.
And I grew a specific type of pumpkin in my garden last year that my mom's been decorating on her front porch. And this is a type of holeless pumpkin where this, oh, that's the cake, I think. Where the seeds don't have a hole on it. And it's when you buy pepita seeds or pumpkin seeds at the store, it's apparently grown from this type of pumpkin. So we are gonna open that up today.
You know what, we could roast some of this in a vegetable.
Oh yeah.
Do you think?
Well, I don't know what texture, if it's like, you know, stringy. Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
We could roast it and turn it into pumpkin puree as well and just freeze it. Because I did bring home grown pumpkin puree, but it's from last year's pumpkin.
That's
not done?
Nope. Boy, it's going to be tall. Those are 8-inch circles too.
All right, should I cut into that pumpkin?
Yeah, go for it.
So I have a couple more of these. This was just the one that my mom brought over here to decorate her front porch with. All right, here we go, Mom.
What's it look like inside?
It's yellow inside, I think. Oh, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, it definitely looks stringy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it would be a good...
Do you want a colander to scoop that into and rinse?
Yeah. Yeah, it almost looks like a spaghetti squash, like when you look at the flesh. So what we were thinking is we would put these pepita seeds on top of the roasted vegetable salad. I might just bring this pumpkin home, Mom, and I'm just gonna give this pumpkin to the chickens.
Oh, sure, they will love it.
Yeah, because I don't think that's gonna make good pumpkin.
It looks slimy.
Yeah, pumpkin.
Well, it might be that it's been sitting out on the porch for...
No, but those don't have holes on it. That's a pepita seed for sure.
Oh, holes.
Holes. I don't know if I'm saying that right. See, like...
No, that's it. I just thought you said holes.
Oh, holes. No, holes.
H-U-L. My growing up Halloween tradition was after we carved our pumpkins, we saved the seeds and Mom would roast them in the oven with salt and, of course, garlic.
Yeah, it's good.
And it was very good. Oh, ice cream scoop. What a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put the stuff for the dressing in my biggest bowl so we can toss it well.
With the broth?
Yes, the broth, the eggs. Someone asked in the questions that we didn't answer the other day on the live, why do you put an egg in stuffing? Oh, you don't?
Mm-mm.
Well, I always have because that was Grandma Jones' recipe, but it's to help it hold together.
Yeah, more like a casserole.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessary. Do you want me not to? It doesn't matter to me.
You can add an egg if you, doesn't matter.
I don't want it to cook because that's really hot, so.
I'm just gonna pick out kind of the
Maybe I won't.
part. I usually don't.
Well, I don't know that anyone will notice one way or the other.
No, I don't think so. So we purchased some breadcrumbs for today.
Well, the interesting thing is they say they weigh the same.
I know.
And one has 3 more inches of bread in it. Okay, I think the potatoes are now done.
Do you want to drop the temperature of that oven to 350?
Yeah. Let me take care of this first. It's heavy and it's hot. They're all roasted. We'll let them cool.
Beautiful. So here are our pumpkin seeds. So I'm going to roast these when I maybe when I bake the rhubarb dessert. My mom just dropped that bottom temperature oven down to 350. My mom did put 1 more stick of butter in here because we are doubling this recipe, and it's 1 stick of butter per recipe. And then the broth, I can get you the broth. Whoop.
And adaptation from Grandma Jones' stuffing recipe is that she called for a 1/2 pound of hamburger and a 1/2 pound of sausage. And we just prefer all sausage. So what Becky will post will say hamburger and sausage, but you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Here's the broth for you, Mom. I can open these. I almost think stuffing is better to make the day before because then it has time to absorb the moisture.
Yes.
And you can then the day of adjust the moisture as needed if you need to add more broth.
And I think the spices, that was just my big elbow shot. You could add more spices as needed. Give more, and I think that it's absorbed into the bread better, the flavor.
I like this size breadcrumb better than what I did. When I did my Friendsgiving, I made homemade bread, dried it out, but I think I left the bread chunks too large.
Too large?
And I think this is a better size.
Well, I don't know if it's really going to make a difference, but you see it's long and skinny versus cubes.
I think what I'm going to do right now is actually get some bacon on to cook because we need bacon for the twice baked.
Yes, and they're cooling.
Yeah,
so.
and I'll just use that same pan we just did the sausage in.
Now, if I was doing this gluten-free, there was some questions on the live about adapting. I would have taken the vegetable and meat preparation part and split it between gluten-free bread and regular bread. And then it would look the same, and just put it in a different casserole so you knew which was which. That's an easy thing to adapt.
We used to make, when we did need to do a gluten-free stuffing, we would do a cornbread stuffing.
Oh yes, that was a good one too.
Doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and put this rhubarb compote on our dessert since it's cooled a little bit. I will just rinse this out and we can make our cranberry sauce in this pan. And I might get going on that next just so that we have our stove working for us. It is kind of good to let that rhubarb melt or cool just a little bit so you're not putting such a hot thing on the cream cheese layer. Now I'm going to take the rest of my crumbs.
I don't know.
Still coming out sticky. It's close.
Oh, that's better. I think I'll pull them out. If it settles at all, it'll just be a little bit right there. Oh yeah, now it's pulling away. It wasn't pulling away from the edges.
Oh, is that a way you can tell it's done?
That's another way.
Oh.
This smaller one is definitely done.
I'm gonna go ahead and swap this in there for that.
I added more broth to the stuffing, and as I was beginning to pour it in, I realized if I turn this dish parallel to my bowl, a lot more is going to go in the bowl than into the pan than all around on the counter. Look, you probably already knew this, but it just occurred to me as I flung a bunch onto the counter.
Since I have the sugar out and I've got that pan clean, I'm going to go ahead and get going on cranberry sauce. And we need cranberry sauce for 2 things. I'm going to go ahead and just make fresh cranberry sauce for us to have on Thanksgiving. I brought a jar. I need to make fresh cranberry sauce anyway for the dip that we're going to have. So I'm just going to make enough.
I need some for the punch.
Oh.
There, that will be good. That will be for the punch. And I can sprinkle, no, we're using pomegranate. So this, I don't need that many for the punch.
Okay. I was going to wash them.
Oh yeah, you can wash them, and then I need, I don't know, half a cup.
Okay. That's what I'm going to do real quick, because I'm going to get a bunch in here and just go through them because I can see, like there's a shrivelly one. I don't really want those going into our punch or into our cranberry sauce. Cranberry sauce is probably the easiest thing to make on Thanksgiving Day, but it is something you can make in advance if you like to have cranberry sauce throughout the year for turkey sandwiches or whatever it might be.
I like it on yogurt.
Oh, do you?
Cranberry sauce on vanilla yogurt, and I like it, thin it down a little bit, heat it up, and use it as a pancake or waffle syrup.
I think that would be good too.
I just don't think I've ever met a cranberry I didn't like.
Well, I was looking at the back of this package, and there's a classic cranberry nut bread recipe on the back that I'm sure is pretty good. I'm not going to add any orange juice. You can substitute the water for orange juice if you want, but I'm just going to make it.
That's not my favorite.
With orange juice?
Yeah, I don't like it nearly as well as just straight up cranberries.
Me too. I'm glad we're on the same page. So in this dish, I'm going to put my water and my cranberries. So this is perfect. This made a double recipe of cranberry sauce. Plus, I have enough for my mom for her punch. So I need to get 1 more cup of water in here.
Oh, I'm glad I bought more foil.
I'm going to turn the stove on.
That's all I had left.
Now I'm going to get 2 cups of sugar in here. And that's all you need for cranberry sauce. We're going to cook this until they pop and blister and are nice and soft.
Check it off. We got the stuffing ready. I'm going to go put it in the outside refrigerator. This is how I flip them over. If you have a smaller cooling rack, you can put it on top, turn them over.
Beautiful.
Voila. And see now it's nice and flat. If there was a bubble, there would be a divot.
Oh, those look perfect, Mom.
And then we can slide this right onto here. And do the same thing.
It smells so good.
It really does. And I'm very pleased that they're nice and fluffy. They aren't like a bar. I was kind of afraid they might be really dense, but I don't think it is.
No, they look fluffy.
There we go.
Good job, Mom.
We'll let them cool, and then I'll take them out, put them in the freezer probably.
To frost them?
Yes, to get them good and firm.
So we're kind of at a point where the dishes are starting to take over and the kitchen's getting a little messy.
We don't have any counter space left anymore.
So
we clean up.
So I'm going to work on just chopping these vegetables that I started a minute ago. And then my mom's going to go ahead and do some dishes just so that we can kind of reclaim some counter space. I'm going to chop these vegetables into bite-sized pieces. And the original recipe my mom found for this roast vegetable salad called for butternut squash, Brussels sprouts, and sweet potatoes. But because we are making a twice-baked sweet potato on this day, we figured we would substitute carrots since my mom had some homegrown carrots from her garden. So we went ahead and we substitute carrots for sweet potatoes in this recipe, and it worked just fine. And then we also are going to make a reduction sauce glaze that's going to go on the top of this. We do that toward the end of this day, and it's like a cranberry juice vinegar reduction, and it is so delicious. The tartness of the reduction with the earthiness of these vegetables is a beautiful combination. So I'm just going to check on the bacon and check on the cranberry sauce, and we're just chugging along. My mom did a good job kind of reclaiming a lot of the counter space. We are going to be doing the pies here once I'm done with the veggies. So she didn't put any of that stuff away because she knows we're going to need that in a minute. Our cranberry sauce is boiling, so it needs to boil for 10 minutes. I think I need to look that up. I think our pepitas are done. What do you think, Mom? You gonna try one?
I'd give a couple more minutes. They're still soft inside.
They taste good though.
They do.
Wow.
Childhood memories.
Unlocked.
Childhood memories.
So well, I'm finishing up these vegetables because they're a little bit tedious. I am gonna peel all these itty bitty tiny carrots. My mom is gonna get going on the twice baked sweet potato. And this is unlike anything we've ever done before. Oh, you took the bacon out.
I did. It was getting quite brown.
Okay, perfect. I'm glad you remembered that. And I'm starting a bowl over here with, I don't know,
not a person.
Brussels sprout.
Brussels sprout.
A compost bowl, or not really a compost bowl, it's actually a chicken bowl. So I'm gonna bring all those goodies to the chickens.
One of the questions you all asked on the live that we did not address was cleaning up.
Oh.
How do you do cleaning up in the midst? Well, if you want to spend down here, there's no point in doing my floors before we start this day.
Yeah,
there's no point.
There's a couple Brussels sprouts. There's a couple
peels. There's spice herb pieces, sticky stuff.
So my dad will come.
That's his job tonight. He'll do it.
We'll try to get all the main dishes done, but he usually comes in and wipes the cabinets down and things like that. And he will do the floors. My mom's just been grabbing out all the things she needs for the twice baked sweet potatoes, and the cranberry sauce is basically done. I am just going to mash it so that it doesn't have so many whole berries. You could run this through a sieve if you want to have a smooth, jelly-like cranberry sauce if you want. Do you want to do that, Mom, or do you want it more thick?
I think I like it thick and chunky.
Okay. I love a turkey sandwich with cranberry sauce and pesto on it with sharp cheddar or sharp cheddar.
Or Swiss.
Oh, Swiss would be good. I don't think I've ever done Swiss before.
Swiss is probably my favorite next to cream cheese.
Did you have a dish, Mom, that you wanted this to go in? Because it's basically done at this point. Do you want it to cool before it goes in your dish, maybe?
Sure. Okay, that was your timer for something.
Rhubarb.
I might go 2 more minutes. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got an assembly line going here for these potatoes. Essentially, I'm going to cut them in half, scoop them, mash them with all kinds of extra yummy goodies in it, and then I'll stuff them and lay them out here. And then when we serve them, we will probably cut them not only this way, but we'll cut them this way because not everybody wants a whole great big one when there's so many options. Do you remember the dinner party, Becky, that we had, and my daughter-in-law was going to do twice baked potatoes, and it started out just a small group, and then it went to like 25 people or something, and she said had she realized that, she might have done mac and cheese or something rather than the twice baked potatoes. It was a work of love to make twice baked potatoes for that many people, but it was very good. Oh, you know what it was? It was my birthday.
Oh yeah.
It went with the steaks.
I don't think I've ever made twice baked potatoes before. I've heard they freeze really well. So if you're gonna do it, you could do like 20 or something, and then
Yeah, that would work.
yeah, pull 2 or 3 out when you need them.
Yeah, you just wrap them individually. You know, if you see it in the freezer case, you can freeze it.
Oh yeah, I think that's done now. The cookie part is starting to brown, and that feels set. Okay, so one more thing completely done. I'll just set it here to cool. Oh, we need the ovens for the pies. So I'm almost done with these vegetables. It was very fiddly peeling these teeny tiny ones.
Yes.
And do you think, because there's not that many carrots, I could just put them on this side with the Brussels sprouts?
Sure.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
Normally we do all the veggies separate so that they can come out, you know, roasted at different times as they are done roasting, but I don't have that many carrots, so I think I could fit them right here.
These sweet potatoes are very sticky and very sweet. Now, I don't know, maybe you know, and they're very bright orange, very pretty. I don't know technically the difference between a sweet potato and a yam. Do you?
No. I was told once, because I asked, but I cannot remember. Because I think technically those are yams, right? Or are those sweet potatoes?
I don't know. And I think it is by the color. I just always get the most orange ones because I think they're sweeter and they're prettier.
Yeah, I think they have more flavor too.
But I don't know. I would get, when it says on the label, when it says on the, at the grocery store, I go for the ones that say Jewel. But this time it didn't say anything. There was no identifying factor. Maybe there was on a sticker somewhere, but I'm going to get this all on one tray.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, the parchment paper is just sticky sweet.
Oh yeah. So I got the carrots all peeled, so all the veggies now are cooked. These pumpkin seeds turned out so good.
They are really good. Memories of childhood.
They're super fresh and super tender. So these are gonna go on top of our veggies. Or, you know, we may need to put them on the side, because I don't know if everyone's gonna want them. And we've got our...
And you have several more of those pumpkins left, right?
I think I have 4 or 5.
Oh, you should do that with the seeds.
Yeah, I'm going to, and I'll freeze them. So I'll roast them, pop them in the freezer so I can take them out as needed and they don't go bad. And how I think I'm gonna do this is I'm going to put these 2 cookie sheets on top of each other, And I'm gonna wrap it with saran wrap instead of wrapping them separate. I'm gonna wrap them together. Just use a little less plastic wrap.
And I'm over here playing that game where you try to get all the shapes to fit in the same space.
Little Tetris.
Yes, that's what it's called. Trying to get these sweet potatoes so there's room to stuff them.
And what I need to do is get going on the glaze for this.
I'm just mashing up the guts out of the sweet potatoes, and boy, it smells good. I just love these are the apples here. And here's a grater. What are you looking for?
The peeler.
You had it over there with the vegetables.
Oh, it's right there. So this recipe calls for, is it grated or diced?
Grated.
Grated, okay. Apples, and I am just peeling them.
And you don't have to cut them in half because then you can grate it, or I can grate it, whoever, down to
the core.
The core.
Yeah.
And you're less likely to get your fingers.
The double recipe calls for 4 apples, but these were pretty small sweet potatoes, so we're gonna start with,
Can you put that right there?
yeah, a little less apple and see how that is, and if it needs more, we can add more. Can I just grate this right into there?
Yes, you can.
That's too hard to do.
2 teaspoons of salt. I don't normally have such a small cinnamon, but this is from the trailer from camping.
Oh. Did you take it out for the winter?
Yeah, I took everything out, basically. I don't want a habitation for mice. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I just made a big mound. Oh, good, and it's warm enough to melt that butter up a bit. Technically, the recipe said only to cool the potatoes for 10 minutes, but we took them out, and who knows how long it's been. But they were much easier to handle, I think, than if they were hot. They did shrivel up a bit, but maybe that's why you wanted to do it before they shriveled up too much. I don't know. Oh, does that smell good? Now this smells like fall.
Yeah, it does.
Peanut butter cake, not so much.
Yeah, that's true.
And rhubarb, not so much.
Well, we're going to do apple pie and pumpkin pie here in just a minute, so it'll really start to smell fallish. And then the bacon goes in there?
Half of the bacon.
Okay. And then get the other half on the top.
Yes. And I think I'm going to use my cookie scoop
Oh, that's a good idea.
to fill this, to fill those.
So I have 2 pie crusts here that I made, I don't know, maybe a week ago or so. And I just wrapped them in parchment and I threw them in the freezer. And I did something a little different with this pie. I used 1 cup of whole fresh milled flour.
Ooh.
So we're gonna try that for the first time and we'll see how it goes. Maybe a little bit crumblier than 100% all-purpose. And then my mom, normally what I do when I freeze pie dough is I will put it in the refrigerator overnight and then you can just use it at any time. We did clean these counters after all of the fun baking and cooking we've been doing. But that didn't happen last night. So they just sat on the counter for about 2 hours. And then I popped them in the fridge and now I'm gonna roll them out and they should be okay to roll out now at this point.
And I'm just tucking this parchment paper under so that it doesn't burn in the oven.
I just learned that you have to be careful with different brands of parchment paper because they're rated for different temperatures.
I did not. Oh, parchment papers.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's close enough if you can see that.
You can go over there.
It's standard cupcake liners, 500 pieces. And I was visiting my daughter in Oklahoma and she had these cupcake holders, cupcake papers that she made bran muffins in. And you know, bran muffins in a paper one, you lose half of your muffin on the side of the paper.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I had it for breakfast, I just peeled the paper back and I said, Sarah, what is this miracle paper here? And she said, it's parchment paper, and she got it on Amazon. So I did a little shopping, and I found it in this quantity. Becky can probably link it.
Yeah, I can find it for you.
At a much more reasonable price. I don't remember off the top of my head how much they were, but I like to have the parchment papers or cupcake papers. It's nicer to serve them in, but I don't like cupcakes and muffins in the papers because you lose so much on the paper. So I'm hoping that this solves that dilemma.
Well, we tried to find them at the store too. You looked,
Yes,
I think,
I looked.
at 2 or 3 stores we went to. No, just one store, just Winco.
We looked at Winco.
You know,
Costco probably didn't have it.
New Seasons probably would have had it if we looked, but they probably would be more expensive there.
Okay, so I'm going to start by putting 2 scoops in all the way around, and then I'll spread it to see how that works. The recipe said, don't worry, you'll have ample stuffing.
So I can tell, rolling this out, that this dough is more tender than 100% all-purpose dough with this fresh milled flour, because when you use fresh milled flour, it still has the germ and what is it, the endosperm. And so what that—
I think it's endoderm.
Oh, endoderm and the germ, and I think, is that it? Or does it
Yes,
have—
and the bran.
And the bran. And what that does is those are sharp and they actually cut gluten. And that's why it's a learning skill to learn how to make really good crusty loaves of bread with it. But
So that's the difference in all-purpose flour and fresh milled whole grain flour, is that yours has everything in it.
Yeah, and there's a lot more protein in it. So I just learned this, and anecdotally, Josh has saying that when I make like muffins and waffles and pancakes that are with fresh milled flour, is that he stays full longer because there's 6 grams of protein in a 1/4 cup of fresh milled flour, which is a lot of protein. And so you stay full longer. But it is a little bit tricky to learn how to work with it. And you want your pie crust really tender and flaky. So I think that this is going to be a good thing. Now, I didn't do 100% fresh milled flour with this because I kind of want to just work my way to it. But Sarah said that she uses my recipe and does 100% fresh milled flour, and it works just fine. So
Does
next
she
time,
have a flour mill too?
yeah, that's why I finally got it out of the box, because I had bought it a couple weeks before I went to Oklahoma. But she has one and she was telling me all about it, and I was like, okay, I can get it out of the box. So I'm gonna pop this back in the fridge, and this is ready. I'll make it look pretty, but I'm gonna just let the butter cool while I roll out the other one.
I am really excited to try this. It smells so good with the apple, the sweet potato, the cinnamon, and the bacon.
Yeah.
Can you smell that bacon?
Yeah, I can.
It
looks really cute.
I think it's going to be a hit, at least for me.
Well, and you're the one doing most of the cooking, so you gotta have something that you're really excited about.
Well, I'm doing the balsamic vinegar on the side.
Yeah, I would like it with the balsamic vinegar for sure, which we should probably get going next. So are you just gonna pop this in the fridge once you get those full?
Yes,
then?
that's what it says.
Now, one trick when you are working with pie dough, whether it's whole, fresh milled, or just all purpose, for me, what I have found is moving it. Don't just roll it out to the size you want and not move it, because then it tends to stick. So
That's a great idea.
Yeah, so I pick it up, turn it over, dust it with flour. Try not to use too much flour, but I'm constantly moving it. And if I notice it cracks around the outsides, then I will just pinch it back together. I do the same thing when I'm just doing all-purpose flour. And that way you kind of prevent it from creating too big of a crack.
Well, this is way more appealing to me than those ones with marshmallows or caramelized stuff on top. Because to me, those are more like a dessert.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is going to be just a good side.
There's a little sweetness to it,
Just
but
a little.
not candied.
No, not candied.
I can definitely tell that this is a lot more tender. So we're gonna do an apple pie, and the apple pie, I don't need to peel or do anything to the apples because I pulled out some apple pie filling that was in my freezer from the apples from last year's orchard. I didn't have any apple harvest this year, but I had enough to make an apple pie from last year and I wanted to use it up. So all I need to do is make a crumb topping for this. Or did you want a crust on the top of this?
Apple, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I think let's do a crumb topping. Everyone loves a good crumb topping. So I need to get a little bit of butter. I'm basically gonna make the same crumb topping. I should have just doubled the crumb topping from the rhubarb. Just kind of making this up, doing some butter, some oats. I won't put any nuts or anything in it because Josh's favorite dessert is apple pie. He doesn't like nuts.
All right, sweet potatoes are ready for the oven. I'll come back and check it off.
Do you want to put the bacon on it?
Afterwards, but I think I'm going to put them in a baggie with it.
Oh, so we don't lose them.
So that, yeah, so it doesn't get used on something else.
So because we're kind of making this apple pie recipe up, do you think 350 is a good temperature for apple pie?
Yeah, I think that's probably good.
Okay.
Well, sometimes for pies, they say to start at higher temperature to brown the crust, but with your high butter content pie crust, I don't think that's a problem.
Okay.
This is how we stack them alternatingly.
Yes. So here are the apples that were in my freezer. They do have some spices and some flour and things on them already, but because they were frozen and then thawed, I'm gonna just add a little bit more flour. If I bake apple pie filling from frozen, I don't do this step, but I just wanna make sure that it doesn't get too runny. What you can do is actually freeze apple pie filling in the shape of a pie and bake from frozen, and that works beautifully.
But this last time, instead of freezing the apple pie filling in the shape of a pie pan, I thought I would freeze it in a Ziploc bag flat so that I could turn it into other things other than pie. But here we are making an apple pie. And I'm really glad I chose the crumb topping because Josh said that this was one of the best apple pies he's had in a long time, and that just warmed my heart because I wanted to make this for him because I know that apple pie is his favorite. So I'm going to put the crumb topping on it, pop this in the oven. It's going to bake for about 1 hour and 15 minutes, and then we are going to get going on the pumpkin pies next.
We have some pumpkin here that I thawed. This was from last year's garden. I'm gonna add some salt. I like to add brown sugar to my pumpkin pie. We're gonna add heavy cream instead of evaporated milk. Egg. Pumpkin pie spice.
Shall I check things off?
Sure.
Cranberry sauce. Check. Winter vegetable salad. Check, except for the glaze. Sweet potatoes. Check. You're working on the pumpkin pie and the rhubarb pie.
Oh, vanilla.
Okay, the next thing would be the cranberry jello, or cranberry jello, cranberry jalapeno. And are you done with the mixer?
Yes. I don't.
Okay, so I can mix that. I can beat the cream cheese.
There's the filling. So easy. So I'm gonna just start putting a couple things away because I don't think we're done baking other than, will you need vanilla for the frosting? Probably. We'll probably need salt for the frosting too.
Probably, yes.
Milk, peanut butter, powdered sugar, no vanilla actually. So I get that put away.
All right, piece of foil.
And I can get the pie shell out and get that filled. My mom's gonna put a piece of foil on the apple pie because I have a feeling it's gonna take longer to bake before the top will get too brown. Would you be willing to hand me a paring knife? I think I'm just gonna cut this extra crust off. So we need to make the, glaze for the ham, frost the cake. We baked the cake already. Veggie plate, cranberry jalapeno dip. That's what we're gonna get going on, the cranberry jalapeno dip next. So the next recipe I'm gonna get going on is the cranberry jalapeno dip. This is a new one. Normally we make cranberry salsa and we serve that over cream cheese. And then I saw this, it's kind of like that, but you use cranberry sauce instead. And you, instead of adding the kind of salsa ingredients to the cranberries, you add it to the cream cheese. And I thought that this would be kind of a fun take on, except the recipe that I found called for dairy-free cream cheese. We're gonna use dairy cream cheese, so we're changing it a little bit. So we're getting inspiration from this recipe that I saw online. I will link the inspiration recipe down below. And just know that I am substituting regular cream cheese for dairy, because this was a dairy-free recipe, right? And you changed it?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're gonna do regular cream cheese. So it's gonna have a lot of the same flavors as the dip that we normally make, except it's going to be kind of in reverse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my mom washed the KitchenAid. I'm just drying it out a little bit. She's grabbing all the vegetables for the turkey platter that she's gonna make. And we're going to whip a block of cream cheese. And then I need to cut some veggies to put into this cream cheese after it's whipped and soft. And then we're going to put the cream cheese down on the bottom of the plate. We're gonna top it with cranberry sauce.
Are we done with the
Cornstarch?
cornstarch?
Yeah. I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic powder. This is roasted garlic powder. I'm gonna add a little bit of roasted onion powder. And I'm just gonna get this whipped up. And while this is whipping, I'm going to dice a red onion, part of a red onion really finely. I'm gonna wash some green onions.
I asked a lot of people after they tried this appetizer whether they liked this version of the cranberry cream cheese appetizer or the one that we normally make, the cranberry salsa, and it was split. Everyone thought that both are really, really good, but some preferred the other one, some preferred this one. It was about 50-50. I like both, but I do think I actually like this version a little bit better. I'm now chopping a jalapeno and I am leaving the seeds in.
So I'm gonna scrape this down and get this whipping again. And then while it's whipping for the second time, I'm gonna get a little bit of lime juice in here. Oh yeah, Mom, this KitchenAid attachment's a lot nicer than what I have. And we are supposed to do 2 blocks of cream cheese. And so I'm gonna get the second block in there. I'm glad you had 2 blocks. I guess you did plan this, didn't you?
I did.
So the recipe calls for 2 jalapenos and we only bought 1. So I decided to leave the seeds in just because we're only putting 1 instead of 2. And then once we're done with this, I will wash this out for my mom so she can make her peanut butter frosting in here. She did put the cakes in the garage so that they would cool a little bit faster. Did you want to put those in the freezer now, Mom, so that they're...
Yeah, I can.
She was wanting to frost them from at least partially frozen because then you get less crumbs. That's why cake is a really good thing that you can make in advance if you want. I'm just gonna close this and move this over a little bit. This is why it's kind of a reverse of what we normally do, because normally we would chop up cranberries and add onions and green onion and all these herbs and things to the cranberries. But this, we're adding all the flavor and greenery to the cream cheese. I think I could actually add a little bit more. Nope, I'm just gonna keep it like, yeah, I think I'm gonna add a little bit more green onion. And one of these green onions I will save and we'll put on the top so that it has a little bit of green on the top. Oh, beautiful, Mom.
I'm so glad I didn't put it in the refrigerator.
Why?
Because that turkey's not covered. The whole garage smells like it.
Turkey?
Yes, so I'm not going to put this back out there.
Okay.
I don't want a turkey smelling peanut butter cake. So I think I have room in the inside refrigerator.
Yeah, I think you do.
Inside freezer. Yes, because we're out of popsicles.
Oh, I was gonna say, oh no. Mom, you need a new.
What do I need? Oh. Well, I'll tell you what the best kind are. The absolute best kind.
Oh yeah, those are my favorite.
It's all in one piece.
I think I got that for you for Christmas.
I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are my favorite.
I could use 4 of them.
I have just miniature ones and it's a little sad. Okay, so this dip is basically done. So what I'm gonna do, my mom grabbed me the platter that says cranberry dip on it, And did we buy crackers or did you already have crackers for this?
I didn't have crackers. I have the vegetables. I have Ritz.
Okay.
But I have the vegetables. And
I think some people
Marianne is bringing hummus and pita chips.
Okay, pita chips would be good.
Yes, so I didn't buy any. I didn't think we probably would need it. And if we do, I've got a giant Ritz.
I think buttery Ritz would go really well with this. So
yes, I do have Ritz.
So all I'm going to do is take this cream cheese, and I can go ahead and plate this up. I'm not going to put the cranberry sauce on this until tomorrow because I don't want it to leak or anything like that, but I can prep this. So I'm just going to lay this smoothly on the base of this baking dish. I'm really excited about this. I think this is going to be so good.
Well, I'll have to sample it over here on the disassembled spatula.
Is it good?
It's good. I was afraid it would be too hot, but it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay.
That's very good.
So I'll cover this, pop this in the fridge, and then tomorrow that is going to be topped with, you know, it said 1 whole can of cranberry sauce. So I might open the cranberry sauce that I brought.
Oh, sure.
Or we'll use this. Not sure exactly, but this is going to top that, and you will dip a cracker or a vegetable with this, and that is going to be delicious. My dad just brought us lunch, so we just sat down and ate some lunch. Now we are going to do the last 2 things that we're going to do today, which is decorate the cake. And my mom's going to do that because she's the cake expert around here. She's going to make the peanut butter frosting. She just made a ganache where she took cream, we did it together, warmed the cream in the microwave. We weighed out the chocolate chips. We put the cream in the chocolate chips. We sat down, we ate lunch, and then we mixed the cream and the chocolate chips together. So we made a ganache, and it is in the refrigerator now chilling so that it is pipeable. We'll want to keep a close eye on it because you'll want it not so hard that it turns into hard chocolate in the fridge, which it will.
Oh, then we should maybe just get it out.
Get it out. You just want it cooled enough that you'll be able to pipe it because right now it's not pipeable.
Well, it's going to be a while before I can pipe it. So
there's the ganache.
And I can spread the middle without piping it.
Yes. And here is what I'm going to be working on, which is this this little turkey. It's not tiny. It's going to be a whole platter size. And we're going to make up a ranch to go with it.
I got to tell you what was funny. I had this whole picture out. Actually has a few more too. And Mark came up and said, oh, wow, let's do this one.
This one.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
It's all the meat and cheese. I said, well, you know, we need a few more veggies on our plate, so we're going to do this one.
So we're doing a vegetable turkey that I've got all the veggies washed. So now I'm going to cut them up while my mom makes the frosting and start layering them on this platter. I do need a bowl though for the dip, which I'm just going to make a ranch dip up because my mom doesn't have any ranch in her refrigerator. Do you know how to open these?
Yes, you unscrew it.
Oh, I see.
And then you don't have to use this to squirt it out.
So this is just some sour cream. I'm just going to make this ranch up. So we have some roasted garlic. Smoked paprika is not traditional, but I think that would be good. My mom has white pepper, so I'm going to use some of that. I should get myself some white pepper.
There's just a few times you need it.
I know. Garlic. I usually just put black pepper. That was roasted garlic powder, parsley. My mom has freeze-dried chives, so we're going to use those. That'll be good. And this will be good that it's sitting a little bit.
Oh, yes. They'll taste much better than if we made it the day of.
I don't know if I want to put dill seed in there because I'm not sure about how they are going to, the texture.
Be lumpy?
Yeah, and then my mom has freeze-dried
shallots,
which she gets at Penzeys that are really good. And I'm going to put a good 2 tablespoons in there. So I'm going to put all these well, I should probably season it with some salt, mix it up, and then we're going to taste this. It might not taste exactly like ranch just because it doesn't have dill in it, and I feel like dill is one of the prominent flavors in ranch.
Okay, so I have 1 cup of butter and 1.5 cups of peanut butter, and I'm going to beat that for a minute to try and get it all smooth and incorporated. Oh, that is good. When the freeze-dried shallots reconstitute,
Yeah,
That's going to be really good.
We did take the pumpkin pie out of the oven. That apple pie is still not done. We took the foil off, but I'm gonna go ahead and put that foil back on and give that another 15 minutes.
Why can I never remember how many cups of powdered sugar are in one bag?
That's what Siri's for.
I know, I'm just going to have to use it.
I'm gonna put all these spices away. That dip is great.
It is very good.
Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is look at this photo of this turkey, and I'm gonna start with working from the outside in. So I'm gonna start with the cucumber. We only got one cucumber, but we have a lot of everything else.
Okay, my bag has 7.5 cups. I'm going to take 1 cup out and put it in my canister, and then I will use the whole bag, and I don't have to measure it.
Okay, first row's done. Now we're moving on to the carrots.
Okay, I'm going to add 1 cup of powdered sugar and then 2 tablespoons of milk and a cup of powdered sugar and 2 tablespoons of milk until I'm done. And I'm going to end with the sugar. And I'm going to do it very slowly so it doesn't dust these vegetables with powdered sugar. Oh, that's so cute. My father's favorite cake when I was growing up is what's sometimes called a 3-holer cake or a depression cake. It's where you put the cocoa powder and the sugar and the flour in the pan. You make 3 holes. You put vinegar in one, oil in one, maybe water in the other.
I'm not sure.
No eggs. I mean, it's very inexpensive way to make a cake, and then peanut butter frosting on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was his favorite cake. This frosting is smelling heavenly.
It smells so good.
Thus far, I've managed not to spread it all over your veggies. Okay, here goes the last round of sugar.
Okay, now we get to put the face on this.
Nobody's going to see the picture.
That's
They're
true.
only going to see the turkey on the plate.
Okay, there's the turkey.
Oh, cute. I like how you did the beak. That's darling. Good job.
Not perfect, but...
Well, you know, it looks like a turkey to me.
All right, let's show you. There's the turkey.
And that can just go on the wrapped and on the table in the garage.
Okay. My mom just took the apple pie out. It looks beautiful. It's nice and bubbly. It took about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. It was a very thick pie. Here is the pumpkin pie. It looks really good. It's a little bit dark because we use the brown sugar, and we did get that crust fully baked, but that is also a whole wheat pie crust.
I think it looks better browner than lighter orange. To me, it looks like it's real pumpkin.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we check some off?
Yes. Okay.
Cranberry jalapeno dip.
Done. Cake frosting.
Pie. That's what I'm doing right now. Ham glaze. I could do that tomorrow. We don't have, got the veggie plate done. We need to do the glaze.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Well, I frost the cake.
My mom has gotten all the goodies out for the cake. So I can make the glaze while you're working on that. And the glaze is right. No, that's the punch.
We're going to put ganache in the middle.
Do you want to pipe a thing of
Yes,
frosting?
I think that's what I'll do. Yes, I think that's what I'll do.
So in here we have cranberry juice, honey, a tablespoon of balsamic, and then I'm going to finely dice these craisins.
Here we go.
That looks beautiful, Mom. That looks professional.
I've watched a few reels on fast motion cake decorating.
I'm just going to chop these cranberries up fine, it said. So you're basically kind of reconstituting these cranberries and then turning it into like a salad dressing almost. That looks beautiful.
I think that's going to hold that in.
Yeah.
Now it should set up pretty hard because this cake, I mean, it's frozen.
Oh, you did put it in the freezer?
Oh, yeah, I put it in the freezer.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I have dried cranberries here chopped. Do you think that's
looks
probably
pretty even?
That's very flat on top.
Where did my sticks go? Here they are. This is the foolproof method to prevent your cakes from splitting or sliding.
Yeah, I tried doing a cake once and not using them, and it's not a good idea.
Yes, I had one actually split in 3 pieces and slide off into the refrigerator off the platter.
The cake recipe that my mom is following does not call for a chocolate ganache, but my dad thought that a chocolate ganache would be really delicious with a peanut butter cake. So my mom just Googled a chocolate ganache frosting, and we went ahead and made that up, but it made way more ganache than we needed just for the middle. And so we're sitting here talking because originally she was going to just decorate this cake how the writer of this recipe decorated her cake, but she has so much extra ganache that she wants to try to use some of it up. And so we're just sitting here talking about different options she has, and she is going to attempt to do a drizzle ganache top for the first time.
Cross your fingers, we don't know what we're doing. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's beautiful. I love watching it fold over. I don't know if you could see that, but it was layering itself and folding.
I'm going to chop some peanuts for her. These are salted and roasted. There you go.
I can't quite see it. Is it going down nicely?
A little bit, yeah. It's going to slowly dribble. I think that's perfect speed. If you look over here, you'll be able to see what's happening. You could do like a loop-de-loop or something like that with the frosting and then pile the peanuts on the inside.
That's what I'm going to do with that tip, which was right there.
Good job, Mom.
Oh, that's not very centered. There.
That's pretty.
I just stood back and took a look at it, and I think it looks really nice. When I'm up here looking at every little lump and bump, it doesn't look as nice as when you see it from the whole, from a distance. Yes, from afar.
So here's our glaze. Oh, smart, Mom.
I think I saw it somewhere on.
It's still a little bit runny, but I think that'll thicken up a little bit as it cools because there's all the sugars in it. Are you trying to leave the center?
No, I just was doing along the edge where I needed the
hard part first.
Yeah.
I really like the smell of the roasted, toasted nuts. I think that will add a good crunch and saltiness.
I think that's beautiful.
It's beautiful, Mom. Good job.
Now, I think my just turned 12-year-old grandson
crazy.
Is going to be happy about a peanut butter cake. That's what he asked for.
He'll feel really special.
Yes. And I'm going to go put this in the garage.
I can put it in the garage while you taste that.
And not in the refrigerator because I don't want it smelling like turkey.
Okay. It smells good. This smells good.
All right, I'm going to taste this. Oh, that is really good.
Not too vinegary?
Not too vinegary at all.
Good.
That is very good.
Okay.
Now cleanup time.
I
have to save that frosting.
Oh, yeah.
Pop-Up will love it.
My dad's favorite snack. Now, because my mom makes so many cakes, it's usually homemade frosting, but growing up, he would open a can of frosting and put it on graham crackers. But he probably doesn't do that anymore. He probably just has enough homemade frosting, right?
Oh, there's always one in the refrigerator. There's always one.
So we officially, because we got that glaze done, we got everything done on the list.
I could have done it with this tip. Watch.
I thought that's what you were.
I could have made it taller.
Oh yeah, I thought you were going to do a swirl like that, but I like what you did.
I do too. I could have done that, but I just haven't really played around.
I know, because once you do one, you kind of have to commit to it.
Right, and you have to make sure you have enough frosting.
That's true.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying we officially checked everything off the list for today, other than the kitchen does need to be cleaned. So my dad will be back shortly to help clean. There definitely is quite a bit of cleaning to do. We did stay up pretty well on top of the dishes. The floor definitely needs some love and care. The cabinets
and the
countertops need some love and care, but all the food prep basically is done. The only thing we have to actually start from scratch tomorrow are the dinner rolls. We're going to do the 1 hour buttery dinner roll recipe and make it look like a turkey. And we don't really want to do that the day before because we want them to be really nice, fresh, fluffy rolls.
My question is,
yeah,
to make it bake the same length of time, the rolls and the body, are you going to try to make the body an equal thickness, just a bigger...
I think so. Surface area?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the picture shows it more mounded, like it's a separate loaf.
Yeah. I actually didn't think about that till you just said that, but I think that that's what we're going to have to do because I think we're going to want them to bake together.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I lay in bed and think of these things.
I know. I hadn't really thought about it, but we'll figure it out tomorrow. But I think that's a good idea to just have a wider disc. Yeah.
A disc.
Yeah.
So it's the same height, maybe 2.5 or 3 inches versus 5 or 6.
Yeah. So we'll show you what that looks like tomorrow. So officially though, other than cleaning the kitchen and getting the dishes done, the only other thing we have to start from scratch tomorrow is the punch because we don't want to do that today.
And the ham glaze. But we could just do that while we're waiting.
Because we're going to do that in, I don't like frosting.
Oh.
I know.
I don't like it on cake, but I like it on my finger.
Oh, really?
Well, this much. On a cake, it's a big blob.
I know. I wish I liked, well, it's probably good I don't like frosty, but I don't.
That is primo.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
I like a little bit of cream cheese frosting on a cinnamon roll, but I saw this frosting recipe, Mom, that was a block of cream cheese. You whip that till it's soft, and then you put heavy cream in it, and you whip it. So it's like a whipped, but it's thicker.
It's called,
does it have a name?
Yeah, it's stabilized whipped cream. And you can use that on cakes.
That I think I would really like.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not as dense as cream cheese frosting. It's airier.
I think it's the powdered sugar that I don't love the flavor of.
Oh, you do put a little powdered sugar in it. But
oh, do you? Yeah. Probably just for sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good job, Mom. Do you want to cross the last thing off the list?
Yes, I will.
Woohoo!
Ta-da!
So I will show you a state of the kitchen just so that you...
Oh, yes. Close the... Don't trip. You almost backed into the open drawer.
So, there's pots and pans, some olives. We're going to cover those and we'll just serve those just like that. Those will all get eaten tomorrow. The floors we're going to get taken care of. And then we have the cake mess, but not too bad.
Now tell me, what should I do with this?
Well, you could put that in the fridge and turn it into truffles. That's all truffles are.
Oh, you know what we could do? We could do something with that peanut butter frosting.
Oh, yeah. Or you could make little truffle balls and you could top the cake. Like we could make mini truffle balls or something.
Do I let it get cold? And does it get like Play-Doh then?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I will do that.
If there's enough. So just pop that in the fridge.
I'll make them pea size and I'll put them in the center of each of those.
Oh, that's a good idea. Or you could do every other or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea.
So thank you for being here today. We will see you back tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us. It was great fun.
Bye, friend.
Bye-bye.